You guys have not watched part 1 of this entire situation that's going on with Power DF, make sure you guys watch my last video, because my last video is basically what started all this and what sparked all of these things finally coming to light and finally coming out to the entire public and to the entire 2K community. So I'm not going to repeat everything that I said in part 1. So if you guys have not watched that, make sure you guys watch that first before watching this video, because some of these things might be a little confusing and it might be hard for you guys to get context properly. So I highly suggest watching part 1 of the video that I uploaded last night. Moving forward though, this situation right here has turned into a situation that I did not think was going to happen. I don't think anybody watching this video or following this story or whatever the case may be thought that this was actually going to happen with Power DF. This entire situation obviously started with DF breaking up, and then it led to Ollie2K tweeting out some text exchange between him and Power. And speaking about that, he followed up this entire situation with another exchange with Power DF, where Power is literally telling this kid, I don't know how old he is, this man, this kid, whatever, that he is going to claim his whole PayPal. So once again, Power DF is using his authority or using his clout or power or whatever you want to call it to get people to do what they want. Now, when I saw this, I'm like, okay, both of these people on each side, it was kind of a strange exchange. I don't know if it was just a friendship at this point, because sitting there and saying that you want to be someone's bitch or you want someone to be their master, whatever you're into, you know, you could be into. But once I started reading these texts more and more, I started to feel like maybe this was more than just a subscriber playing on someone's account. I don't know. We're not going to go down that path, but from looking at these exchanges, there is definitely a lot more going on than I think what is being told, which if you're into that, that's fine. But moving forward from that, seeing those text exchange and seeing the way that he talked to this Ollie2K guy, you would think, okay, maybe that was just a rare occurrence where he talks to people like that. But that's not the case at all. There was another exchange that came out from a guy named Relays, who used to do things for Power in NBA 2K17. And in these exchanges, you could see that Power is talking to this guy. Now, keep in mind, this was a fair amount of time ago, but it just shows that Power does not change the way he talks to people who work with him or want to collab with him or whatever the case may be. If he is bigger than you and you want something from him, he is going to treat you like complete dirt. So in these text messages, I'm going to go ahead and show them on screen. They're not text messages, they're DMs from a very long time ago. So it's going to look a little different. But as you see right here, he says this. He says, "It's funny knowing that I could turn people against anyone, hundreds of people against anyone." So him sitting there once again using his image, using his clout to basically get these people who obviously look up to him or are friends with him or whatever the case is at the time. He's using his clout, his name, and his platform to basically make these people do whatever he wants. Now, listen, I know that Power is going through a lot of stuff right now. He's getting attacked, and obviously there's things that are being said about him that might not necessarily be 100% true. But what I can say that I firmly believe in is that this is Power DF's character right here. This is two people now that have came out with evidence. I imagine there's more people as well who have dealt with Power and have sat there and listened to him basically belittle them and clown them because he has clout and he wants them to basically do whatever they want. Now, obviously, with the situations that we have already talked about, they are extremely weird. Like, I'm talking, this is not how normal people act. But then again, you also don't know content creators outside of what they are like on the internet. Everyone can be different. Everyone can have their own personal lives and act like a completely different person off the internet than they are on the internet. But moving forward, you thought those text messages were strange. You thought all of these things that have come out were strange. That, to me, isn't even the worst part. This next situation that I'm going to talk about, to me, is probably one of the weirdest things I have ever seen. So Double H, who is a very big YouTuber and who I believe used to be in DF before they broke up, tweeted out this. He said, "I didn't ask for this. I didn't want to show this. He sent me DMs of the inside and the outside of my house to scare me. I am scared." Obviously, I had to blur them out for a little privacy. This right here is literal proof that Power DF went out of its way to search up pictures of Double H's house to literally scare him, as Double H said, And to me, that is extremely weird. Knowing where someone lives or knowing that you have the access to someone's location and then doxing someone who you were literally in a clan with, someone who you made content with, you played with, and you acted like you were cool and friends with, just to turn around and dox someone. I don't know if that was because people were leaving DF, but regardless, this is not normal behavior. This is not something that you do as a content creator who is as big as Power DF is. The one thing that blows my mind is how all of these things are coming out. Now, things like this were discussed in the Twitter space that were hosted yesterday. There was like over 7,000 people in the Twitter space, and apparently Power's defense to this was that he was just joking, and this is how people joked with each other, which I don't understand how sending pictures of someone's house is joking. But apparently this also wasn't the first time that Power has done something like this. There was another situation that was brought up that I'm not going to address, but this isn't the first time that Power has been accused of doxing or doing something this weird. And this isn't even the only thing that came out. There are so many other little stories that I'm going to briefly touch on. There was another story that apparently Power DF was bribing people to stay in DF. Now, apparently the amount went up all the way to $10,000. And I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm getting offered $10,000 to be in a virtual basketball clan, sign me up. Pay me my money. I'm going to sit there and be the biggest mascot for that clan that everyone in the world is going to know about DF. $10,000 a month or $10,000 for 3 months to sit there and stay in that clan. You know what? I'm a part of DF. Call me Phantuums DF because I'm not going to lie. I'm not turning that down. Matter of fact, if you guys would accept $10,000 to stay in DF, I want you to press the number 2 in the comment section right now. And another thing that was brought up is that apparently Power had access to everyone's Twitter accounts. Maybe not everyone's, but he had access to a fair amount of people's Twitter accounts, which makes sense because apparently that led to him threatening to like deactivate people's accounts if they didn't do certain things for him. But my question is, and I think everyone else was wondering this when they were listening to the space or that they were looking at the tweets, is why did you give access to your Twitter to Power? I don't even have anybody that I've dated before have access to my Twitter accounts or my Instagram or my YouTube. I just don't do that. Maybe if it's someone that like makes clips for me or something like that, sure. But someone that I've been in a clan with that I've had arguments with, I'm not just giving them immediate access to my Twitter, because once you do that, that person then has more power over you. So, no pun intended. So after all these things came out, after all these things just blew up, Power DF sounded defeated in the Twitter space. He sounded very down, very sad. I can imagine the messages he was getting. He was probably getting insulted. He's probably getting sent a lot of bad things. Now, obviously, that's not okay, sitting there and saying the things that the 2K community has probably already said to Power. But nonetheless, this led to Power deactivating his Twitter and deactivating his YouTube. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. He's probably going to be gone for like a week and then he'll be back. You can't just sit there and have your entire life on the internet and then just completely leave. That is not how it works. And knowing how seriously now that Power took clans, Power took this content creation to the point where he wanted to pass his own friends, he's not going to be gone forever. He's going to be back. But for right now, this whole situation led to Power DF deactivating his Twitter and deactivating his YouTube. But that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to drop a like. Do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you guys think Power DF is coming back, I want you to type the number 5. If you don't, I want you to type the number 6. But make sure you guys like the video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.